Did you know that the clock in Animal Crossing for the GameCube stops in the year 2030? Neither did I. It made me wonder what happens on December 31st, 2030. Lucky for us, we can flippantly abuse my otherworldly gifts and travel through time using dark magic. The year is 2030, New York. Ooh, I'm not talking about that New York, I'm talking about this New York. All lowercase New York. I didn't realize you can capitalize text when I first got this game back in 2003. That's right, we're using my original GameCube file for this little experiment in time crime. So hopefully this doesn't break my file forever. My memory card gave me mild heart palpitations, but it was nothing that a little bit of blowing into couldn't fix. The memory card, not my heart. Well, there he is, Lewis, in all lowercase. This was before I had people in my life calling me Lou, before the sweet honorific was added as a prefix. We're gonna move the clock ahead to December 31st, 2030, 11:50 p.m. I want to take one last stroll and potentially say goodbye to my villagers in case they get sucked into the piercing deep abyss. But before anything, I gotta inspect the drip. Wow. Also, weird observation, I made this upstairs in the early 2000s and basically recreated it in New Horizons. This had to be some sort of subconscious move because I literally didn't remember how this house looked at all.
My brain sucks.
According to Buck here, I was gone for 127 months, which is like 10 and a half years. Most of the villagers I wanted to see were asleep already, which is tragic. Like Goldie, I really wanted to see Goldie, but she was asleep before midnight on New Year's Eve, fucking nerd. Bertha was also asleep, which I could be wrong, but I think she was the Uggo I made fun of in Poopers.
Bertha. It's an ugly name for an ugly girl.
And before you ask, I am not sure why all the trees are chopped down in this file.
Damn it, how could this have happened?
I went to the pond and I was joined by a few villagers. There was Astrid, who I always hated. There was Hector, who I believe I made his catchphrase on ballless back in the day, which my friends and I found infinitely funny. There was Chevra, I don't really have much to say about her, but her mouth makes me think of that butt mouth alien from Star Wars. And also there was this eagle who I didn't remember at all. Maybe she moved in during the 10-year time skip, I don't know. 1 minute ago, I can barely contain my excitement. Happy New Year! Interestingly, the game did switch from Tuesday to Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dude.
And even more interestingly, Hector does acknowledge the year is now 2031. Same with Astrid, but we don't like her. But here's where things started to get a little weird. Upon saving and restarting the game in the main menu, the game says it's back to Tuesday, January 1st, 2030. And upon inspecting a calendar, January 1st, 2030 isn't a Wednesday. It is indeed a Tuesday, so that's correct. The game is functioning, but it's slightly funky. Here's an interesting idea. Let's reset real quick. We'll do the New Year's countdown again, and then we'll leave it alone. Won't look at the clock at all. I'll just come back in 8 hours to see what happens to the time and date. I also left a note on the bulletin board. Not to get all political, but penis 2031. But take note, it was indeed timestamped as January 1st, 2031. Well, 8 hours in real life came and went, and much to my surprise, all lowercase New York still thought it was just a little after midnight. And also the New Year's countdown announcement happened, but it was already the new year.
What is going? What? It glitched. I mean, what?
And Tutu seems to think it's 2030 now. Things are getting weird. It seems the game is no longer tracking real time like it's supposed to. So I did what any rational person would do in this situation. I left my GameCube on for like 8 hours to see what would happen.
That's not something a rational person would do.
Right, yeah, of course.
As long as the game was on, it did track the time normally. The next morning, Tom Nook left a Happy New Year message on the bulletin board. Timestamp 2030. While my message is still 2031? What is happening? I checked out the wishing well and everything appeared normal there, though no one mentioned what year it was specifically. Also, Goldie and Tutu were really fucking rude to me, which I was not a big fan of.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Something just didn't seem right to me. Well, a lot of things didn't seem right, but I put on my thinking cap and I realized the issue might actually be the GameCube. And oh boy, was I correct. Yes, that's right, my friends, there's a little battery in there somewhere that must have died because the clock on my menu wasn't updating unless the GameCube was powered on.
Oh, good.
I was telling my friend about all this and he hit me with, "Good work, Detective Pikachu." And honestly, I'm still recovering from that. Because nothing can ever be easy, I broke out my Nintendo Wii and kept this party going. I was having such a good time, you know?
He's a good man.
and thorough.
And the Wii did seem to be keeping time normally, so I think we're all good now. I reset time back before New Year's again. Happy New Year. Bertha called out the year 2031, and I of course updated the bulletin board with my important message. The Wii gave me a similar issue with my memory card, but I blew it again, and yeah, it was fine. And now we wait. I turned my Wii on later, and sure enough, the game is tracking time as it should be. The year has indeed reverted back to 2030 though. My crucially important message on the bulletin board remained listed as 2031. But Tom Nook didn't leave a Happy New Year message this time. I was quite disturbed by that. There was one other peculiar time discrepancy. I grabbed this little journal and I left it on my table here. Right after midnight, the year was 2031 and the day was Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
But now, on January 1st, around 7 a.m., it's not 2031 anymore. It's in fact 2030 again. And it's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. But hey, at least the game is tracking time normally. Well, mystery solved. We've forever doomed my villagers to living outside the normal flow of time. We've cursed them to perpetually repeat the same year. Let's hope it's a good one. But this whole journey has brought up an even more interesting question. What's gonna happen in a year from now? Obviously, I can't skip the time ahead anymore in-game, but the game does track real-life time and it's working properly on the Wii. So what do you say we put a pin in this one? I'll see you in a year to answer that burning question. And while you wait, I have plenty of other Animal Crossing videos on the channel, like the one that's appearing on screen right now. I think you're really gonna like it, and hey, don't worry, I won't forget about revisiting all lowercase New York for 2032. And that's precisely why you should subscribe. For science, of course.